Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Anna Morphides with Monday Hearts Counseling, and today's video is going to continue on the topic of forgiveness of self, and this is based on a comment that I received in the original video that I posted all about self-forgiveness, and we are going to talk about acceptance and gauging morality of the action of the thing that it is that we want to forgive. So I'm going to read the question aloud so then we can go through it together. And thank you so much, first of all, to everyone that took time to listen to the video, even if it was just for a second or a minute. I have come to the conclusion and knowing just through what I've learned in school, books that I've read, conference that I have gone to, that we as humans, we really love to punish ourselves when we quote unquote do something wrong. Like from a young age, we are taught wrong equals punishment. But this is not how it was actually intended to be. Imagine that you're a child and you do something wrong, and then when I grew up, we would get hit. So it didn't matter what the extent of the mistake was. So whether it was, I remember like I broke someone's structure that they had, like a wooden structure at my aunt's house, that there was like a vineyard that was hanging off of it. We were a bunch of kids hanging on it, and then I was the last one to go and hang off of it as well, and I guess it was my weight that added onto it that had it collapse. I got in trouble for that. If I wrote sideways, I got in trouble for that, and when I mean trouble, I mean hit. If I fell off my bike and I hurt myself, I got hit. If I jumped off of like I tried to jump off of like this a little rooftop thingy, I didn't get hurt, but I can imagine if I got hurt from that, I would get hit. If I lied, I would get punished. But now imagine a world where we as children, or even as adults, instead of getting hit, we are approached the way that these lessons are supposed to be approached, because they are lessons and we are learning from them. So what if the question, instead of a punishment, was, what did you learn from that experience? Well, I would probably say, if I hurt myself jumping off that rooftop thing, I would say I learned that jumping off of heights is probably not a good idea. If I stole, then I would probably say, or hopefully I would say, I felt not really good inside of myself after I did that, and I never want to do that again. If I hit someone, again, I would sure hope to say like that made me feel not, again, very good inside. So I learned that hitting is not right. I learned that hanging off of things is probably not a good idea because it might destroy it. So I'll think twice before I do that again. So what if this grace, and this is what Jesus actually wanted us to do in the first place. He never punished anyone. That was not the point. The point of our lessons is, what did we learn from it? And where are we in our awareness after that lesson in order for us to not repeat it again? So if we always do this, right? If we acquire the knowledge that is meant to come from the quote unquote mistake, then we are able to move on and really change our level of awareness as well. Because if we're not prompted to understand or to even like dig within and go inwards to see what it is that we were meant to be learning from this experience, if we don't have the opportunity to do that, the chances are most likely we're going to repeat that again. So if we are in this cycle of doing and punishing, and then I'm doing that as an adult as well, because I would totally do that even as an adult. I would completely punish myself with my self-talk, especially with my self-talk. Like, how could you do that? You're such a terrible human. You don't deserve, like, you don't deserve anything. Like, how can you show your face in society? And who do you think you are? Like, you think you're a good person, but really, and this self-talk was ridiculous. But all I really needed to ask myself was, okay, Anna, like, you tried this and that didn't work. Why didn't it work? How did it make you feel? What would you want to feel in the future differently? What awareness did you gain? Because we always do an action from the level of awareness that we have in that given moment in time. And the only way to raise our awareness is to feel emotions and or feelings that will propel us to choose different. But if we don't have the so-called mistake to bring that out of us, how are we supposed to know what we're supposed to be working on in the first place? So this is how errors or mistakes or mishaps are treated in the most ideal and fruitful way for us humans, not through punishment. We punish ourselves enough. We punish ourselves enough with our self-talk, and we punish ourselves enough by the emotions that are elicited from an action that we don't want to repeat again. Right? Like the wounds that causes us to make this sort of error in the first place, right? Because our wounded self, our like old patterns of behavior, our the unhelpful core beliefs that we have from within that want to come through in order to be healed, those have to be actioned out somehow in order for us to feel them. So that's why errors happen, and that's why I've done a lot of dumb shit in my life. I'm not gonna lie. I've done a lot of dumb shit in my life, and I could literally like keep myself under my bed for the rest of my life in guilt and in shame about who I am, and I don't deserve to like have a wonderful life and all these things, a happy life because of the stuff that I did. And like the stuff that I did is like not even like I can't even imagine if I killed someone or like I don't know, like really did terrible things. But even that, we're supposed to be forgiving that. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that. I mean, I could. But the point is, we're supposed to learn and forgive everything. And like Bashar says, and he channels higher energy, like he says, we humans love to suffer. We love to keep ourselves in suffering. We love to punish ourselves. We love to do it. And like, why? It's not supposed to be this way. It's supposed to be way easier. It's supposed to be, we make an error, we learn from it, we gain what we're supposed to, and we're supposed to forgive ourselves and move forward. We're not supposed to keep punishing ourselves for that. What's the point of that? Honestly, what good does it do to keep punishing ourselves for something over and over? Punishment has a really low vibrational frequency, and it will keep us in guilt and shame, and then that will be determining our like aura, our vibrational field, and then by law of attraction we're going to be bringing in more experiences to make us feel more guilt and shame. So why not go into acceptance where it's harmonious vibrational frequency, which is way higher in hertz than guilt and shame. And hertz is the measure that, like, what measures energy. Why would we not stay in acceptance, which is equal to the flow of life, like where there is no resistance? It's living, not suffering. So to answer the first question, do you think to forgive you have to accept? I would naturally be inclined to say yes. Acceptance of who we are, no matter what we have ever done in this life, is where you want to be at all times, because you love yourself so much that you accept all parts of you, all of them. We all have light and dark. We all have things that we've done that we don't love about ourselves, but that's when we need to love ourselves the most. That's when we need to love ourselves the most. So acceptance, yes, because you're accepting who you are, you're not rejecting. And whatever we are resisting will be persisting. So if you're resisting that, there's a part of you, there's a wounded part of yourself that brought you to this experience where you didn't like the outcome of it, then not accepting that is like you're not accepting who you are and the lessons that you signed up to live in this life, or the things that have brought you so far. Like you're not, that's not, yeah, you're resisting the experience, and I don't think that's for our highest good. And like Masha Linehan, the creator of dialectical behavioral therapy, she always says that as well. Like acceptance is the key to change. So if we want to change who we are based on actions that we did, then we accept who we were in order to become a different version. And we give that part of ourselves so much love, all the love, all the love. You were doing the best that you could with the awareness that you had in the moment. You were doing the best that you could with the awareness that you have in the moment. I forgive you. I love you. Thank you. It goes, I forgive you. No, I'm sorry. I forgive you. Thank you. I love you. And then this is how we're supposed to be dealing with challenging circumstances based on our actions. This is the best way to heal it. So do you think to forgive you have to accept? I would say 1,000%. Yes, I accept all parts of myself no matter what, because I was doing the best that I could with the awareness that I had in the moment. And I'm learning, and I forgive myself, and I love myself, and I thank myself for all that I've learned. And yeah, just love and compassion. Next question is, do you gauge the morality of your, how do you gauge the morality of your action? Is it against the final outcome or intention? So we touched a little bit upon that. So I don't think that so there is no punishment really. So it's not like what do you call it? The residential schools, when they did the reconciliation, and they would pay out a certain amount of money based to each individual based on how many years that individual was in one of those schools, and then they would top it up if they endured any sort of sexual or physical abuse. The number would go up of how much they were reimbursed. Like, this doesn't work in this way, which I think was ridiculous too, because how do you put a price on sexual abuse? Like, so you're gonna give the person $30,000 a year for each year that they were there, plus I don't even know how they determine a number. Like, how do you even determine that? So kind of the same thing with actions that we take. It's not about like being punished in the amount of wrong that you did. It's all about learning what is supposed to be meant from that lesson. And sometimes the severity of the lesson is going to be really big, or it's going to be really small. And I think the bigger the lesson, the bigger change it will create in your life. So I guess at the end of the day, it's always happening for your highest good. So don't go into this thing where like, oh, that was so immoral. It's more of like, okay, that took place. What part of me brought me to these pair of shoes that led me to take this action, and now I'm feeling this way? What part of me brought me here? What did I gain from this? What did I learn from this? And what can I do different next time? And this is how we gauge the action, not the morality necessarily, but the actual experience of that and what was supposed to be gained from it. So is it against the final outcome or intention? I guess we don't punish ourselves for the final outcome or intention, but we do really want to know, because intention and attention is everything. We really do want to know, what was our intention? Was our intention to find love? And if, say for example, you were trying to find love in someone who is not available, so now you feel really bad that you were trying to find love in someone who was not available. So then you want to figure out what part of yourself is so wounded that is wanting to attach and recapitulate a cycle where a person is not fully available. That shows that there's trauma that's living in from within you. So that's what you want to do. If you're stealing, say that you stole, then I guess what's your intention there? Was the intention to gain material things? What part of you thinks that you're not worthy enough to just have a job and get it? So this is the kind of things that we want to be doing. This is the kind of things that you want to be asking yourselves and doing when we make those, when we take these actions and they make us feel like we did a mistake. You want to understand what was your intention behind it and what it is that you learned from it. And then, then the outcome, I guess you want to change your outcome, right? So if your intention is to find love and the outcome of trying to find love within someone who's not available leads you to guilt and shame, then you know that you don't want to repeat this again. And you're going to go back in and you're going to heal that inner child of yours, that part of itself where it feels like it's okay to try to find love within someone who's not available because perhaps your parent was not available. So you're recapitulating that cycle, but unfortunately now it's potentially going to hurt the person who you're seeking love out of is going to hurt. Then you want to change your outcome because you don't want to hurt people. So then you're going to think about a different experience that's going to lead to a different outcome. And the thing about changing ourselves in this way is when we forgive ourselves and we really take into consideration the lessons that we learned, this is how we raise our vibration and we change our inner frequency. And then just by doing that alone, we're not going to be repeating the same mistake. We're going to be attracting different into ourselves. Therefore, we're always going to be having different outcomes. This is for sure, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. But if we do something in a different way, then we're going to have a different outcome. So forgiving ourselves as opposed to punishing ourselves when we make errors is definitely a different way of being and understanding what we learned. Healing, all that stuff is going to bring you to a different outcome. And the last one is, how do you balance what you want and what other people want from you? This is a great question. You always want to choose to disappoint others over disappointing yourself. Matt McCann taught me this big lesson, and it was definitely supported when we were going through counseling school. When you want to say no, it is serving you best to say no. So how do you balance what you want and what other people want from you? You have to follow your intuition and really see. You'll know by the way that you feel if you want to do that thing that people want from you. And if you're feeling that it's a clear no, then you don't do it. you don't disappoint yourself. And then if you do it, and then you feel, ah, man, like I should have listened, but I didn't listen, and I said yes, and I should have said no. Again, be compassionate and don't be hard on yourself. Just know that this is how you were meant to learn, because next time you don't want to repeat this, and you know that you're worthy of it. And the minute that you know that people are going to be okay, yes, it's going to take them a minute. They might be a little bit disappointed, but they're going to be over it. They don't have to live with it. But us disappointing ourselves is something that we have to live with for the rest of our lives, because we live that experience and that feeling. The other people like move on. And the more we are in the knowing of that everything's going to be okay, they'll get over it, well, then they will. If we keep thinking and feeling that, oh, they're mad at us, or they're not forgiving us, or they're not this, not that, then of course that's going to be the experience. I know, because when I was a doormat, because predominantly I thought and felt that way, that's what I thought and felt other people felt too. But then the more I changed, and the more I was like, no, everything is okay, it doesn't matter, people are always okay with anything that I choose to say, whether it's a yes or no, as long as it's working for me. Because I also don't want to do things that are not working for me just out of like I wouldn't want people to do things for me if they didn't really want to. So I don't want to give that energy either back to others. So then, yeah, it's like you'll know. And I know that the predominant thoughts and emotions that we carry will literally shape our reality. So again, why choose to make myself suffer by keep thinking that, oh, they're not going to like me anymore if I say no? Or I can choose to think, no, they're still going to like me and everything's going to be okay. Like, even if I say no, they're going to be able to accept that, and they're going to be okay with it. And like, if I keep having this sort of energy with me that everything is always okay, everything is always working out, people are always understanding and accepting, then that's what I'm going to experience, because I'm going to be looking through life through those lenses of perception, and then those people are going to be responding to me through those lenses of perception. And like the difference is huge, ginormous. I hope that I answered these questions to the best that I could in a way that is able to be understood. If you liked anything about this video, please, I would love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'd love to hear from you. Comments, questions, concerns, new topics, how you feel about this. If there's anything that you want me to help you overcome, I would love to hear from you. All my information is in the description box below. And yeah, I think that's it. Good to wrap it up, and I'll see you next time.